Bonjour, ladies and gentlemen, Hanabox here, and today we are taking a look at World of Tanks. Yes, I am doing World of Tanks videos now because I want to try and at least expand my horizons away from Let's Plays. Well, still gonna do Let's Plays. However, today we are taking a look at the Stridsvagn S1, the brand new Tier 8 tank destroyer that was just added to the game, added to the Swedish line, of course, and honestly, this thing has become one of my favorite tanks to play, as far as the premium tanks go. I got this tank because I was going all the way down the Swedish tank destroyer line, and honestly, the TDs on that line do not get good until Tier 8, with the UDES, or the UDES 03. Still stock on this one, sadly. So today we're taking a look at this tank, and I'm just going to give you what the best part of this tank is and why you should get it. In all honesty, this tank is as good, if not better, than the UDES, and it can hold its own in Tier 10 battles despite being a Tier 8 tank. Now, obviously, there are its downsides, and unlike the UDES, and like the Stridsvagn 103 and the 103B at Tier 10, this is 100% fixed to the tank, this gun is. This 105mm gun. So, what does this mean? Well, basically, unlike the UDES, which can elevate its gun at least up, so when you are at an awkward angle facing downwards, you can at least aim upwards with the gun, and use at least your 20 degrees of elevation to attack your opponents from above. However, with the Stridsvagn, it's 11 degrees down, 11 degrees up in the hydropneumatic suspension. So, yeah, that can be fun, but it's also hard at the same time. However, unlike the UDES, where when you enter your siege mode, you move at an extremely slow 5 kph. With the Stridsvagn S1, you can move backwards and forwards at 8 kph, which is far, far better than the UDES. And it may still seem like nothing, but in all honesty, holy crap, is it amazing. Also, unlike the UDES, this tank has 30mm of frontal armor. So, let's put that into perspective. The UDES has 20mm of frontal armor. And while you may be thinking to yourself, wow, that really does suck. In all honesty, no, this armor does not suck, even compared to the UDES. The UDES will bounce because of this amazing angling on the tank. Or, sorry, I should go to the UDES. Because of the UDES's amazing angling as far as the upper plate goes, you will be able to bounce any gun that is 60mm or less. And this can be useful. This is actually very useful in a lot of situations. This 20mm of armor does protect you against a lot of lower tier guns. Obviously, anything that is tier 5, 6, 7, and 8, which this, or all the way up to 10, sorry, I should say 5, so all the way from 6 to 10 will be able to pen you, for the most part. There are some guns that won't be able to, but it's very rare. And with its 1,000 hit points, you will die very quickly. So you don't really have to you can't really rely on the armor of this tank, you have to rely on its stealthiness, which is one of the stealthier tanks in the game. With the Stridsvagn X1, because it has 30mm of frontal protection, even on the lower plate, when you are facing enemies, you will bounce most tier 6s, some tier 7s, some stock tier 8s, which is way better than what the UDES can do. Obviously, when you're facing tanks at tier 9 and 10, and the upper register when you're fully decked out in tier 8, they will pen this tank. But it has pretty much close to the same camo value as the UDES. So, on top of your amazing camo, the fact that you'll never be seen, if you are seen, oh man, you are going to be able to survive a lot easier than in the UDES. Now, of course, those are two very nice things, but there's one thing that this tank does not have that the UDES does have, and that's mobility. This tank is really slow in comparison. It's still fast. Honestly, going fast is still this tank's strength. Let me see here. 50 forwards, 45 backwards. You will never reach flat 50. You will always go at least 45, 40 going uphill. However, when you are reversing, you will always hit your 45 limit and go down to 40 when you're going uphill backwards. Still very nice. Still not an UDES, but honestly, it's very, very good. The other advantage this tank has is switching to siege mode is the exact same, but as you can see, switching to travel mode is so much faster. That 0.75 seconds makes the largest difference in the world. Now, we can talk about concealment all day. I have a max Sisterhood of Steel with a camo crew. No camouflage net, but I have vents, coffee, and this thing, while stationary, has 51.28% camo. After firing, it's 10, which still is not as good as the UDES. The UDES is still stealthier. Holy crap, does this tank. This tank is still pretty stealthy. The one thing you want to do in this tank is fire through double bushes, and you will never, ever be seen, and you will rack up the damage quick. Now, what advantage does this have gun-wise? Well, this gun is not as accurate as the UDES. However, even outside of siege mode, it has the same DPM as the UDES does while it is in siege mode. We all know that in siege mode, the UDES only has 1600. In siege mode, it has about 2400 DPM. This tank, both in and out, has around 2400, and when you go into siege mode, it is just barely over the DPM of the UDES 03. Not too big of a difference damage-wise. Honestly, you are never ever going to be firing at targets outside of siege mode in this thing anyways, so there really is no difference damage-wise. However, this thing does have a slower rate of fire than the UDES does. The UDES's Top Gun, which sadly I don't have, does 390 average damage. The Stritzvong S1's gun does 390 average damage. However, the rate of fire, if I check actually, is still around the same actually, so I didn't really think of that. But it is slightly slower than the UDES 03. And then finally, this thing is really ridiculous, in my opinion. I don't know why the heck they thought this was okay. But while you're in siege mode, you have better traverse and movement. Obviously, you still move at -8, but your ground resistances actually get better in siege mode, which, when targets are trying to flank you, makes this a lot easier to actually turn your tank towards them and engage them. And there are several situations which you will see where, wow, I should have died, but because this thing is really fast at turning in siege mode, I managed to survive. Now, obviously, this tank is not for everybody. Low armor, relies all on camo, and really the way you are supposed to play this tank is as a support tank. If you try to go in at any frontal engagements trying to spot for yourself, which you can do, but if you don't have the proper camouflage around you, you are going to die very fast, as it has the same HP as the UDES, and even with that added 30 millimeters of protection, you will still die fast if you run into things. Artillery can one-shot you. Many tier 9 and 10 tank destroyers will overmatch you and take 9/10 of your health away. And in all honesty, this thing is not meant to brawl. With its accuracy, I recommend you fire at tracks, keep your opponents tracked, make them use and burn their repair kits, and then let your team hammer them. I've gotten so much more assistance damage with this tank, even after tracking. If I can overmatch the track and the tank, then you are pretty much golden. Oh, I forgot to mention, this tank has APCR as standard, and it is by far tied with the UDES, I believe, with its penetration values. 288, yes. It has the highest penetration for an APCR round at the lowest tier premium vehicle, so 288. These shells will easily go through all tier 6, 7, 8, and 9 opponents, and really only tanks such as the IS-4, the Mouse, and anything else that you can think of with a lot of armor is going to be a problem. Obviously, you can just dab the 2 key, boom, 330 millimeters of penetration, same damage. Holy crap. And this tank does not shy away from carrying a ton of rounds. I've never run out of rounds in the game. This tank is also very economic. Because of this high penetration, you are never firing these expensive premium rounds, and you just make bank. I make about 50,000 plus credits per game. I am running a premium account, and it is beautiful. Also amazing for crew training, as you can see, because this tank is so easy at racking up damage, especially when firing at higher tier opponents, which gives you more experience and credits. You are just going to burn through your crew training. Granted, I have kept this crew all the way throughout the entirety of the Tank Destroyer line. So without further ado, let's go check out a little bit of examples of gameplay. No full games, just what this tank is capable of. And in all honesty, you should get this tank if you can. If you ever get the opportunity, get this tank. If you love the gameplay of the Swedish Tank Destroyers, this tank is definitely for you. Anyways, let's go check out this tank. Alright, here we are playing on Ensk. We just spot a Panzer 58 Mutz. Thankfully, he stops right in front of the bushes so I don't get spotted. And we just get a very, very clean kill. Our UDES, on the other hand, despite all this, he manages to get spotted, and he does not last long. And there he goes. Now we spot an SU-122-54, track him, and then our Scorpion friend one-shots him with the ammo rack, 1500 assistance. Now I spot the Scorpion G, track him, sadly just a minute too soon as my Scorpion buddy takes a shot, and I manage to steal a kill. Now Leopard 1 sees that the field is being taken over, takes out my Scorpion friend, and I put a nice, lovely shot into him. He's still over here, though, trying to contest me, trying to find me. Sadly, bounced off his turret somehow. I have no idea how the heck that happened. And he manages to get away from my grasp. And, of course, surprise, 1390 takes a swing at me. And this is what 30 millimeters of all-around protection is used for, guys. Look at this. Puts the first shot in, tries to corner and get behind me, but I have the wall to me, the map barrier. Bounces another, put a big old meaty round into him. He tries to get around, he's holding his fire, but it is just not enough. He bounces yet again, and I manage to finish him off. However, that Leopard 1 thinks, okay, this guy's under attack, I can go take advantage of this. He's not a bad player at all. However, I think he underestimates me. I take a shot, I still have enough HP, go into siege mode, boom, blast his head off. And this tank is honestly really good at just taking one awesome shot after awesome shot after awesome shot after accurate shot at your opponents. This thing is so good. You have no idea. And I don't get any more targets there. So now I'm up on the ridge here. Take a shot at the Cromwell. He is regretting his life decisions. And you can see me a little bit upset trying to follow him. Get another shot off, but he survives. FV-4-202. Let's take a shot at this boy. Oh yeah. Already puts a big old shell into him right here. And I managed to steal the kill off of that one. However, it's not over yet. Our team is kind of dying up here. I relocate to the center of the map, trying to help out my team, but that T-54 just keeps ripping us a new one. And surprise, T-44. So put a shot into him. I believe our Panther 2 behind me spots him. So I put a shot into his tracks, keep him tracked. He sadly goes unspotted, but I put another shot in, hopefully hit him. I'm going to put one more in, but if he doesn't die to this shot, or even the Panther 2 shot, then he wouldn't have been there in the first place. So he managed to get back. That T-54 and that T-44 are amazing players, by the way. So as you can see here, demonstrating the mobility going backwards, I'm able to go up this hill at a decent pace, despite going backwards, and just relocate after shooting. And that's what this tank is really for. So I spot the T-54, boom, dead. Did not stand a chance. So I decided to move back because I thought I was spotted, did not want to get hit by Artie. But I see the ISU-152 is pushing into our artillery. Take a shot. Oh, I can't see him anymore, but he's still spotted. And thankfully, he decides to stop right between this gap to take a shot of our Lorraine. Managed to put one medial shot into him. And I'm trying to lead the shot on my map. I think he's about there, and no. But surprise! Enemy T-44 comes up behind me, the one I shot earlier. He had the same idea as me. Thankfully, I managed to get away from him and avoid a shot from artillery. You can hear that shot, yep. And he gets nuked by our own RT. However, after being nuked, or after nuking that T-44, our RT gets anti-RT'd, sadly. He should have moved after firing, but he did not. However, I spot the SU-152, and now it's just a case of mopping up these 3 other artillery pieces, which is very easy. Nothing to brag about, really. Just showing this awesome gun depression. Take a shot, steal a kill, boom. And come on, give me the top gun, please, please. And enter siege mode. Ah, oh, darn. Okay, so here's just another little hit montage. Goodbye, IKV. Goodbye, Nashorn. Goodbye, Bulldog. Oh, hello. Look at this shot. Poor Revelry. You heard Russian accuracy, right? Screw that. WZ-121. Sorry, 131. Dead. Super Pershing. I don't know how I missed that shot. Oh my god. Revelry, that poor Revelry, has nothing to this. Can't get a shot on the Pershing. Oh, look at that. AMX? Oh, bounces right off him. Don't know how that happened. French tanks are troll. Take a shot at this STRV. Poor little tank. Another shot at the Pershing. Look at this Pershing. This shot haunts me at night. Oh, 1 HP. And of course, to finish it all off, out of siege mode kill. Boom. Now I want to highlight that those were all pretty much top tier games. And now this game is a bottom tier game in this tank, and I just wanted to show you guys that this tank holds its own. So I'm taking the standard sniping position, and right now my goal is to not die and not get spotted. So I spot the T-54, fire, exit siege mode immediately, back up. That's really what you want to do in this tank, because after every firing, just get out of siege mode and back up. Even if you don't get spotted, it's better than being spotted and then having to get out of siege mode and then losing all your HP to an artillery. Now these 2 shots I kind of fluff. Boom, right into the anti-weak spot and the lower glacier's strongest point. And that kind of sucks. However, I move back up to my normal position. Hello, Mr. IS-4. Take a big old meaty hit into him. And yes, I am firing premium rounds. Hello, 54. Boom, 54. Look at that shot. And that's really what I want to highlight for this tank is it can hold its own in tier 10 battles. Take a shot at the T-62A. He is still trying to tempt fate with our E-100. And I am no man's fool. I am not going to fire at his turret. I don't believe I could penetrate him, even with my amazing rounds. However, our E-100 dies, and he can no longer spot the T-62A, so I do not take the shot. Well, I do take the shot blind. Then I see a Centurion, take a shot into his butt, pull back, but I thankfully don't get spotted there, so I just pull back up, take another shot at the Centurion, do not get spotted again, but I still get out of siege mode every time. Honestly, it just gives you more advantage. Now, I do get not spotted here, thankfully. I'm just playing Ring Around Rosie. Not really Ring Around Rosie. Playing Peekaboo, really. Because... Oh, and I get spotted here. Yeah, surprisingly, I get spotted there. And it's really how you play this tank. I'm up at the 3,000 damage. And sadly, at the end of the game, I do not get anything else. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to get this tank, I definitely recommend it for you guys. And, yeah. Currently, you can buy the Stridsvang S1 for $48.99. Just base price. $60 loaded and $80 ultimate. Honestly, the best option is for you to get it at $50. Honestly, it is still a very amazing tank. I recommend that you do put money into it. If it is your playstyle, then just play it to your heart's content. It is, without a doubt, one of the best premium tanks in the game as far as tank destroyers go. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like if you did, subscribe if you want to see more. Comment down below what you thought of this video, and if there's any tips or tricks you have for me, and if I can do anything different for future videos. If you have any suggestions of tanks you want to see next, put it down below, and if I do have it, then I will review it. Au revoir, ladies and gentlemen. Au revoir.